episode of Doc Hartree vs. the World. I'm here with the finisher.
How you doing?
We are going to discuss the event that was Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. No, I don't like to talk about Dawn of Justice. What do you think about that?
What was that, Batman? I couldn't.
I don't know. Tool.
Are you gargling with glass? What is that?
Ow, that really hurt. But I must say, the Batman in Batmetal acted more like Batman did than in Batman vs. Superman.
That's true. Go ahead.
I gotta drink my back coffee. So fucking tough. But seriously, don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne / Batman. I'm dissing the actual characterization of Batman in that movie.
Yeah, the actors themselves, I think they all did a fairly good job. Ben Affleck was good with what they gave him. Some people don't like Henry. How the heck do you say his last name? Cavill?
Henry Cavill?
Sure, that.
You know what?
Some people didn't like his portrayal of Superman.
I
liked it.
As far as, that whole thing's concerned, I kind of rethunk my outlook on him, and I rewatched the movie, and he didn't do that bad of a job.
Well, that's the thing, is Superman himself, it's kind of portrayed in comic books. Even other superheroes kind of look at him as the do-gooder of the group. You know, the overground Boy Scout, as Batman likes to call him, in several iterations. So, the fact that they kind of actually portrayed him that way was good. I liked it.
And then Batman just gets wound up as a tool by Lex Luthor. Oh, spoiler alert. And it seems so anti-Batman.
Well, even before that, Batman in this one seems to be Batman who's off his rocker, having crazy freaking visions throughout the movie.
That's what I don't understand. I hope in some future version of either Justice League Part 1, Part 2, or even Wonder Woman or Aquaman. God, what kind of world are we living in when there's an Aquaman movie coming out?
Whales!
We could use whales! Not the... Hey, Vegeta, they sank their battleship, and their whales. No! Get this guy out of here.
A shout out to good old Team 4
Team 4 Star. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all the hilarity. But, seriously. Back to Gothic Aquaman.
Yeah.
Let's take Gothic Aquaman and just reverse it. I really hope that and maybe it's like a sideline of passing. You say, oh, by the way, we've been projecting images into Batman's brain.
And like the Martian Manhunter doing that.
Maybe
or someone who has
Although
psychic abilities.
It seems that they've replaced Manhunter with Cyborg.
Huh.
Did you see the metahuman thing?
Yeah, I saw that.
There's no Martian Manhunter on there.
Oh, maybe he's just better at hiding than everyone, since this is freaking Lex's big book of superheroes that I guess he wants to kill or something.
The Lex Luthor big book of superheroes.
The Lex Luthor bingo book, apparently.
Yeah. And apparently he took the time to make logos for every single one of them.
Oh, he's nice. He's considerate that way.
Yeah.
He might be a psycho, but, not necessarily.
Back to Lex Luthor. The whole funny thing was he was totally portrayed as an evil Google overlord or an evil Facebook overlord. Like, he's got the gym.
Yeah.
The gym, the basketball court in the living room. Or not living room, but in the main building of the offices.
Feeding the guy he's trying to get in good with, the old Jolly Ranchers.
It's Cherry. It's Cherry.
Okay. I don't know what you're trying
As he's burning up Zod's fingerprints. But, yeah, let's just go on the Lex Luthor principle. Everything is ludicrous, okay? First off, okay, he exists. We establish the fact he exists. He takes Zod into the friggin' the Shark Tank with the swimmy squid robots.
Well, no, let's go back even before that. And we all know that Lex Luthor is, one of the big Superman villains. Right?
Yes.
He's always been. It's kind of been Superman's own self-control, I guess, which is, keeps him from breaking his neck like a twig, and kind of like the whole Batman and Joker thing, except even more so on Superman's part, because he's has to abide by his own things and not just off him.
Well, one of the big
He's
turning
always
points.
fighting. He's always fighting everything with his arms behind his back, basically.
Well, one of the major points that they make in the Justice League cartoon is there's an alternate reality where the Justice League becomes the Justice Lords,
Right.
and it's kind of like sort of like an homage to Kingdom Come, that whole graphic novel written by I think Peter David. I could be completely wrong, but drawn by Alex Ross, magnificent. But in this side schism, where the two universes diverge and become separate, where they become the League to the Lords, was Lex Luthor was responsible for the death of the Flash, and in a fit of rage after actually capturing Lex, and Lex pretty much gave him the whole gloating about, well, I'm the president now, and everything you say, blah blah blah. So Superman, it's polite for the cartoon way, but Superman straight up just eyeball lasers Lex in the face and kills him. And then from there on out, they become the Justice Lords, and even Batman is sort of like in that whole spectrum.
Right.
Later on, Batman is actually the one. Batman in the alternate reality is swayed by Batman in present reality into making the team honest, because Batman says something to the effect of, "Oh boy, our parents will be so proud of what you've done."
Right.
But that being said, it's yeah, Lex Luthor is always playing on the niceties of Superman, just like the Joker's always playing the niceties of Batman.
Right. But what I was getting at was there's always in the comics, and usually even in the cartoons or movies or whatever, if Lex is there, it's always kind of either hinted at or flashback or whatever, explained that, you know, Lex has a grudge against Superman for either foiling his plans, or if you go back far enough, there's even one where Lex is mad because he lost his hair, which is a pretty stupid reason to become an evil overlord or a villain. So there's that. I wonder if we can pause this. I don't think we can pause this. All right. In the movie, though, Lex just kind of shows up. He shows up with no explanation for his anti-Superman vendetta. And
just getting some bad copy.
Gotcha. He shows up. He has no explanation for his anti-Superman vendetta. Just kind of.
He just kind of hates him.
I hate Superman. And usually in all the comics or continuities, whatever, the fact that kryptonite hurts Superman is not something that just kind of popped up. Superman's usually aware of that. In this, it just kind of just happened.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we found this green glowing rock, and for no other reason other than just to try it, we tried it on Zod's corpse. Turns out it hurts him.
Yeah.
Not just that, but also Lex Luthor joins the rank of Doctor Doom, and other world conquerors. They want the planet for themselves. The mere fact that he would engage in conversation with Steppenwolf, which is a cutscene, which you guys will probably see at some point, or even send out a beacon from a Kryptonian ship, giving free range to Darkseid, which is the huge big bad implied in several things. There's the big Omega burnt into the ground in front of Metropolis when Batman's being all future Batman, future Rebellion Batman. And also Lex Luthor spouting off his nonsense at the very end, saying, "Well, the bell's been rung, he's coming." It's like Lex Luthor wouldn't gain anything monetarily or otherwise from a new god, as the Kirby pantheon, and pretty much the Kirby version of the devil, coming to Earth and destroying it. In search for the anti-life equation, which is going to be the MacGuffin to end all MacGuffins, according to Zack Snyder.
And again, that's the whole thing that they were kind of showing with Superman, was that, people are looking to him as like a god or a savior or something, and a lot of these people who were rebelling, quote unquote, were rebelling against that. So why, if that was Lex's reason for being anti-Superman in the first place, why would he invite something even bigger, badder, and wanting to enslave everyone?
Yeah, worse. No, Lex Luthor's character makes no sense. On the same rate though, did Jesse Eisenberg play a good Lex Luthor? Yes.
Yes.
It just so happened this particular Lex Luthor made no sense.
Again,
just like Ben Affleck played a great Batman. I'm going to go on record saying this. I'm sorry to all the Batman, Batflick haters out there. Ben Affleck did just as good of a job with the cards he was dealt. I understand there's some writing credit bullshit that goes along with that. And maybe I'm giving him too much credit, but as far as him being Batman, he did a very good job.
Yes.
Cavill did a good job. Even that horrible actress who played Lois Lane, good job. But the motivations and the writing...
Amy Adams is a horrible actress?
I didn't like her in this movie.
That's true.
Okay, I guess out of everything, if I had to pick the weakest actor or actress out of the movie, it'd be Amy Adams.
Which, in my opinion, it's not necessarily the actor so much as what they were given. They really didn't give Lois Lane
she was damsel in distress. Constantly.
Yeah.
Even what's-her-face?
Wonder Woman?
No, the senator.
Oh, right. Helen Hunt?
Was it Helen Hunt? Was it Helen Hunt?
I think so.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Well, they killed her. Spoiler alert. They killed her for no reason halfway through the friggin' movie.
Yeah. Oh, and with that whole bomb thing that supposedly they're trying to pin on Superman, because, that makes a lot of sense.
Because in the meeting, it's like, well, either he knew about it or he didn't do anything about it. It's like, really? That was silly.
Although I did like that little introspective with Superman after that, where he's like, I could have seen it, but I didn't see it because I wasn't looking. I mean, it just shows you that, yes, he is Superman, but that doesn't mean that he's always going to catch everything.
No, he could have been looking, I guess, is what he was trying to say. I
Yeah,
mean, he could have been X-ray. He could have been X-raying the whole area.
Yeah, but he didn't see it because he didn't think that something like that would happen, so he wasn't looking for it.
Yeah. It also made no sense, because it seems like, well, were they trying to frame him? Were they trying to whatever? Because it didn't work.
Yeah. One thing, though, I really think that before they made this movie, I think they should have made another Superman movie before, because in the last movie, they made a really big point, and they hammered it again and again on this one, that there were so many civilian casualties and everything at the end with his battle against Zod. Yeah, there were some people who understood why he did it, and yes, Metropolis kind of considered him a hero because Metropolis was still there because of him, but there's a whole lot more people that kind of looked at him as a monster almost because he brought this to Earth, apparently, is the thinking.
Well, this ham-fisted thing, like the entire last half of the movie, or no, a quarter of the movie when they're battling Doomsday, you have the not Rikers Island. You have the people like on the in Washington D.C. or like the eyes in the sky, making sure to imply, oh well, that island's deserted.
Oh yeah,
those buildings aren't there anymore.
Yeah. Oh, it's downtown Metropolis. No one's there.
No one's there past 5 o'clock. Thank goodness that this is happening right now. And it's like, really, I kind of took from the fact that when Zod and Superman were emerging out of the wrecks of the buildings at the end of Man of Steel, and they weren't covered in guts and blood, that maybe there weren't as many civilian casualties as they were implied. Like, at the same rate, it's just, you don't need to drive. There's a suspension of disbelief. You don't got to keep driving the point home. Well, it's after 5 o'clock. Only the custodians and people don't matter are going to be working there.
Well, in the old Superman movies, they made it kind of a point that if there were people around, no matter what was going on or who he was fighting, Superman would always, take time out to go grab someone and get him out of the way.
Yes.
They didn't do that with the other movies. But, again, there's a little bit of difference. In the Superman comic books, he's been established, and he's been doing his thing for a long time. People tend to expect, oh, Superman, he'll save me. In these, especially did Zack Snyder make the
Man of Steel? He did.
Man of Steel? Every
and
time Superman tried to do something to help people in that movie,
word that I had too. This was going to become a Dark Knight versus Man of Steel brood-off. And thankfully that didn't happen. I will completely retract my previous established opinion that's what was going to happen.
Comes out as Superman. Like I said, they actually portrayed Superman as he lifts the bus and the lady sees him, and he wasn't going out of his way to be broody. He's possessed by the devil or something. Not, oh, thank you for saving me.
And that being said, let's tackle the introduction of the other metahumans one by one. I didn't have that many problems with Wonder Woman, actually.
No, Wonder Woman was good.
Granted, the whole obvious nod to 300, right when she showed up at the end battle, they started playing almost the exact same theme song from 300.
Yeah.
Yeah. She did a pretty good job. Not gonna dog Gal Gadot. Didn't think she was gonna make a pretty good Wonder Woman. Turned out she, did pretty good. Not gonna dog her.
I actually liked her as Diana Prince when she was kind of giving Bruce Wayne some sass there.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Then there's Wally West. Now there's 2 times the Flash shows up. One is a dream within a dream.
Yeah, a little batception there or something.
Which makes no sense. I get the nod. That was a nod to Final Crisis. No, that was a nod to Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Right.
Wally West shows up to Batman, then evaporates, warning him about the Anti-Monitor. And this one I think is going to be warning about Darkseid.
Probably.
They're probably going to actually combine Darkseid and Anti-Monitor into the same person. Not quite sure, but the scene where it's the film from the liquor store robbery, that's pretty cool.
With the Flash, yeah.
Boom. But then the scene where it's Bruce Wayne dreaming about a dream about a dream.
Yeah, that was kind of nuts.
That was silly. And then of course the Flash. He has to have to say, I'm too far back in time. I'm not going to use anything besides pronouns and ambiguity.
Nothing specific. No.
You were right about him. She's the key. Okay. Huh? Okay. And then there was Gothic Aquaman, which is just sort of like, we have the thing under the water, and then here comes staring. Aquaman, poke. That actually went on for about 45 minutes.
No, it just seemed that way.
Yes. Then there was and the thing that's a bummer is the Cyborg is actually post 52 reboot. The Cyborg is actually a cyborg because of alien technology that grafted himself to the body. In the previous incarnation of Cyborg, he was just I think the son of a STARS laboratory guy who got hurt really bad, and the dude actually put his own cybernetics on his own son.
Wasn't he originally a Teen Titan guy,
Yes.
though?
Yes, but post 52,
yeah.
They've made Cyborg into a core member of the Justice League.
See, I was never really that a big fan of the Teen Titans, so I never really paid attention to him.
Well, Cyborg also, if you're going off of Teen Titans, the cartoon, Cyborg was, I hate to say it here, but just like in the that one movie, not another teen movie, Cyborg was the token black guy. He was there to say stuff like "Booyah!" But anyways, so it looks like they did a they kind of took a post 52 approach to Cyborg, giving him the alien technology, and I've heard some stuff online about that thing kind of glowing in the corner being a mother box. I'm not quite sure if that's the case or not.
No idea.
What else was there? Here we have
there was the Flash.
Well, Wonder Woman. And she was so concerned about getting her picture back, but she wanted a copy of her picture back. If she's so big on preserving her identity, why wouldn't she just go in there and stick a knife or a Themyscirian friggin' battle whatever through Lex Luthor's computer?
Yeah.
I want a copy of my photograph back, just in case people suspect.
Because all Bruce was doing was he was making a copy so he could decrypt it and see what it was. He wasn't trying to erase it, unless it was erasing as it was copying. That would be handy.
Yeah, but that wasn't even pointed out. Oh, by the way, yeah.
Maybe they'll say it in the next movie. Oh, by the way, remember that thing I did with the thing and the stuff?
There's a lot of movies coming out that I'm hoping that maybe they clarify. And like I told the audience prior on one of our other arranged our podcasts, I went into this movie wanting to like it. And there are some dynamite action sequences. I'm not going to deny that. But it just sort of seems like we've been promised this movie for 4 to 5 years. Was it 4 years ago or 5 years ago when the first stills of Batfleck next to the Batmobile came out?
I think it's about 4. But this is the movie though that
was supposed to put never mind about Green Lantern.
Even before Green Lantern though, this is the movie that I think most DC fans were hoping for when the 1989 Batman first came out. This is the movie that DC fans were dreaming of.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's a really high expectation. And I think some people just went into it so starved for that they liked it anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, Batman was my original favorite um, DC character because he was the first actual superhero movie that I saw. Um, but going back to that,
Batman was made for our generation. It was '89. Like, I think all the terrible Superman prequels or sequels that came out sort of fizzled out by like '85 or '86, maybe.
well, so the Superman was great. The first one was good. The second one
But
was
Superman,
still good.
Superman 1 came out, I think, was it '79
And then the
or '80?
third one is when they started getting weird.
Yeah, it's just weird. There was the Sun Man.
I think was it that one or was it two where
He did also.
the writers just started making Superman have like weird powers, like I can throw the S on my chest and it expands into a thing.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
Or when he starts drinking in a bar and he has to go fight himself in a junkyard.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
Then there's Richard Pryor.
Who's there
for some reason.
Things.
Yes. But, Batman came out, made things serious, but then they tried to encapsulate it all into one show, which is they had the Joker be the one that murdered his parents.
Yeah.
Nice, neat little thing where the gargoyle fell on him.
Well, this was a time before when sequels weren't expected.
No, the only franchise to actually make a good third prequel, or I keep saying prequel, sequel, was Star Wars. Even like look at Beverly Hills Cop. The third Beverly Hills Cop was abhorrent.
Yeah.
The second one I can deal with because it had Bridget Nielsen in it, and it was
Back when she was hot.
somewhat coherent. Beverly Hills Cop 3, just utter dreck.
It's like, but even then, like some of the movies that had big sequel franchises, like they weren't.
They were horror movies.
They were either horror movies or they stuck to a formula. Like the first Rocky was amazing. It was an awesome movie, and then the second Rocky also pretty good. But the whole story of the first Rocky was that he went the distance. He didn't win.
Yeah.
He just went the distance with Creed, and that was good enough because he proved something to himself. Every movie after that, though,
Rocky won.
Rocky wins almost, but it took the whole premise and kind of put it on its head, and then just kept on going and going so they could make more sequels and money. Rambo was kind of the same way. Rambo, the first Rambo, isn't necessarily like an action flick. It is, but it's also it's more of a thriller. You don't really know what's going on, and you don't necessarily know if Rambo is a good guy or a bad guy almost until the end.
And he found he's a good guy. Patrick Denny, he was the bad guy the entire time. And the only person to actually die was the person who fell out of the chopper by accident.
Yeah. Who was trying to kill Rambo at the time.
Yes.
And
but I mean...
Rambo's body count in that movie was a grand total of 1.
Yeah, one, and he wounded David, the ginger guy.
Well, he wounded David Caruso. He wounded just about everybody, but he didn't kill anyone when they sent him after him. That was his point that he was making. I could have killed them all. I didn't. Don't come after me. Every movie after that, he had huge body counts because they kept sending him back to war zones, and Rambo did what Rambo does. So much so that in movies like Hot Shots, they make fun of the body count.
Yep. And honestly, I really enjoyed Rambo. Rambo 4, I guess it would be.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very good movie. Rambo 3 was okay. Rambo 2 was okay. But Rambo, like the one where he's back in Burma, and they got the chick from Dexter to be in it, like that was actually pretty brutal.
I actually enjoyed just about most of the Rambo movies.
But I mean, but you're saying the formula was completely
exactly. They took something, they basically made a money making formula and ran with it. A lot of comic book movies, they're not necessarily like the same thing. You have different, each bad guy is a different formula. You can't necessarily beat Two-Face the way that you beat the Joker, or Doomsday the same way you beat General Zod, apparently.
Yeah, it was just weird. Up until the Marvel and Disney merger, and here's the whole thing: Marvel got their act together pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. Iron Man. Now I'm gonna people are like, well, you're just butt kissing Marvel. Iron Man 2 and 3 were kind of weak. Not gonna lie there, a little on the weaker side of things, but they were still coherent.
Yeah.
but like the fact that Iron Man 1 spawned what later would become the Avengers, and the Avengers 2, Age of Ultron, all that fun stuff. Um, you would figure that DC, who took 4 years, how many Marvel movies came out in that 4 years that DC was making um, Batman v Superman?
I don't know, what, 2, 3, 4?
And every single one of those movies had a coherent plot and storyline. They weren't abject deviations of characters.
Yeah.
It was just
Thor from the movie was pretty much Thor from the comic books. Now, they might have changed a detail here or
they
there.
depowered him a lot.
But one of the things that I do like about the Marvel movies is even if they've changed a detail here or there, you know, now this also might have...
They own it.
They might have... this might have some influence through the Ultimate Universe because I'll admit, not really a big fan of the Ultimates. Haven't really read any of that stuff. There you go. But one thing that I think Marvel does very, very well is they capture the spirit of the character.
Yes.
They did it with every single character in all their movies. They did it very well with Thor. They did it very well with Captain America, Tony Stark.
Even Winter Soldier, which is a relatively new storyline.
Yeah. So they captured the spirit of their characters perfectly, even if the details are a little different here and there. Now, the thing with DC, apparently not so much, because, going back to Man of Steel, the whole thing with his father was, they're not ready for you, Clark, blah, blah, blah. Don't show anyone your powers, Clark. Pa was the biggest, Pa Kent.
Was the biggest cheerleader of Superman to begin with.
Exactly. He's the reason why Superman became Superman. There was the whole Jor-El thing, you can be an example to them. But the person, that's a voice that he's from someone he's never met, never interacted with at all. Whereas his father was
his
the
father
one saying, Pa Kent was, you can be the force for change. You can show people a better way. That's what he took to heart, and that's what made Superman Superman. And the Man of Steel version, it's like Superman became Superman despite his father instead of because of.
Yeah. And I don't know. But yeah, let's go. Let's talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room, Doomsday.
Yeah.
Okay, so first off, Doomsday is a weird combination. Okay. I understand when Marvel did Whiplash, they also did a combination of like Whiplash and Crimson Dynamo, kind of made him one character. Doomsday, I'm guessing it's like a combination of Doomsday, in addition to Bizarro, in addition to the Parasite, because none of what Doomsday does in the movie Doomsday does. Doomsday is like a Hulk on steroids. He has no energy projection. He doesn't take it. He adapts to survive, and he comes back after death and a bunch of other stuff.
The whole Doomsday story that I remember is basically that some Kryptonian scientist
tortured this creature
from before Krypton even had like the society that Superman grew up to know. Basically, took this thing. I don't know if it was a baby or what, but took this thing,
a genetic or whatever, and tortured it into surviving and coming back stronger after every time it died.
Yeah, and so every time you killed it one particular way, it would come back stronger, and it would be immune to the way
almost like a gray, ugly, bony Saiyan.
Yes.
And so I guess this thing was bound and whatever, so it crashed into Earth. Back in the dinosaur ages, and it woke up relatively recently. Came out, blah blah.
Smelled a bit of Kryptonian in it, and just decided to, wreck stuff until it could find it and kill it.
Yeah, because I guess it was predisposed to. It was totally retconned, by the way, into its hatred for Kryptonians. At the beginning, Doomsday was just this big Hulk wannabe thing that came out of the friggin' ground and beat Superman to death.
Yeah.
So, that being said, this Doomsday we're dealt with, which is pretty much General Zod's body with human DNA from Lex Luthor spilled onto it in the genetic...
And the cave troll from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, total cave troll. Total cave troll.
In the movie, I'm sitting there watching this with a buddy of mine, and the second we saw Doomsday, I look at my buddy and I say, they have a cave troll. in my best Boromir voice. We were dying right there. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's just this big naked thing running around for like a while, and then finally he gets bombarded with like what he gets nuked or something like that, and finally rips his skin off, and he starts getting all bony.
Yeah.
But just stupid. Then all of a sudden he's like just charging, like he's like singing it up, charging up like attacks that go nowhere, and they just kind of pulse out energy.
Yeah.
You know, Doomsday was done very poorly, and they blew their Doomsday wad so early.
Yeah. So, going back to my comment before, I really think that there should have been a Man of Steel sequel before, because when in the comic books, when the whole Doomsday thing happens, Superman has been a beloved character who's been saving people left and right for years. Everyone around the world loved Superman, and even the people who didn't like him, it was just kind of like casual dislike.
Begrudging respect.
You know? So when Superman died, first of all, in the comic book world, it was a huge event. In the real world, it was a huge event, because when the comic series was going on, even though
people were getting black band Superman Memorial friggin' armbands,
even though Doomsday was like his greatest challenge to date, nobody, I guarantee you, nobody thought Superman was going to die.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember reading that comic book myself and like getting misty in the face, and Doc knows me, I cry for nothing.
This was the day a Superman died.
Only time I
Last
cry
line of that
is
comic
at
book.
funerals.
Yep.
Well, that one kind of counts. The subtitle of the entire thing was A Funeral for a Friend. Like, the world, the real world, not the comic book world, mourned the loss of Superman.
Well, it turns out it was a big money grab by DC, but at the time I was a kid.
Oh, it worked fantastically.
I wasn't aware of this whole thing. I'm like, really? They're killing Superman off. That's crazy.
You know? So, for them to do that now, when in the very beginning of their, Justice League, to play the Doomsday card, it's kind of like
forced.
What else can they possibly fight that's even gonna, compare to
Superman
this?
has a rogues gallery that's been around longer than I've been alive by several decades.
Yeah.
I mean, there could have been any number of villains to at least, well, first off, they use Zod. Now, Zod is sort of a throwback to like a mention in an early Superman comic book. But Zod's pretty much also
well, Zod was also more of a reference to the
movie.
To the old movies.
And I guess Zod was also in that show Smallville. I guess they had Zod in that.
Never watched.
Never saw it. I heard it was like 8 seasons of Blue Balls because you never see Superman actually put his uniform on.
Yeah, I remember being excited about Man of Steel, hearing Zod was going to be in it, but that's because I was a fan of the old Superman movies.
Yeah.
So, I really think that my biggest problem with Batman vs. Superman is the fact that they really did. They tried to shoehorn way too much in there, and they blew their wad with Doomsday because, there's this whole big debate, Batman versus Superman, who's better, blah, 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 and there's going to be people who will use this movie and say, look, Batman won. Well, first of all, in any Batman versus Superman scenario, and this movie is no different, the only way Batman can win is through some contrived reason. This one being that Superman had no idea that there was a glowing green rock that specifically worked on him.
Yes.
That Batman and Lex both apparently had access to. Because in the comic books, even most movies, if there's kryptonite, he's known about kryptonite and that weakness for a long time. Usually he can plan around it or do something to get around it. This time he literally,
walks right into it.
Tries to catch it with his dick. Look at me. It's not going to... Oh, that one hurt.
Yeah.
So...
Don't get me wrong. The nod to the classic Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns storyline with the armor and stuff like that was beautiful. But at the same rate, the whole kryptonite lance...
Well, not only that, though,
contrived.
but the biggest problem is Batman essentially was portrayed as Batman the lunatic.
Yeah.
His Batman has always been very smart. He's the guy the Justice League goes to when they want a smart answer, not necessarily, brute force. Brute force, we have Superman for that. Knock his ass out.
Manhunt, yeah.
You can do that. If you want a sneaky way to do something,
subterfuge or whatever,
you can go to Batman. Well, Batman's whole logic and reasoning was if there's even a 1% chance he can go bad, then we have to take it as a 100% chance he's going to go bad. imagine if everybody in the world used that reasoning.
Yeah.
We would constantly be at world war, because everyone, you can't trust anyone. He might go bad. Therefore, I must shank him.
Yeah, I must break my no killing rule.
Whereas
And once again, back to the whole projection. How is Batman getting these visions? Because Batman doesn't have any powers. How is he seeing himself in the future with the obviously Omega thing burnt in the countryside? Nod to Darkseid. Why doesn't he feel any remorse about taking a pistol or a friggin' AR-15 and capping fools in the back?
Breaking some fool's neck on a freaking wooden crate.
Oh well, that's the end. He's actually breaking. He's actually really breaking people at that point.
Yeah, he's killing people. And
well, he shoots the guy in the tank with the flamethrower. Don't get me wrong. Awesome nod to Dark Knight Returns when he's like, "I'll kill her. I'll do it." And he was like, "I believe you," and told page for page from the Dark Knight, just a little bit different. But yeah, no, Batman just unremorselessly kills that guy.
Yeah.
He kills a bunch of people in that particular. A lot of those things where they're going into the crate and this and that, those are all kill shots.
Yeah.
Batman straight up spines her ass.
And even the Nolan verse Batman, who people were like, oh, he's too dark. People were saying that. He went out of his way to not kill anybody, and the only person that he really killed that I can think of is when he did not save Ra's al Ghul. And, just Batman himself off that train.
I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to save you.
So, I mean, this particular Batman, is whacking fools left and right.
And he brands them, and then he knows when they go into prison, they're going to get friggin' killed.
Yeah, so that portrayal of Batman, again, not Ben Affleck's portrayal, he's fine, but the way that the character was written, I didn't like that.
Although I did like the voice modulator. That was cool because they got rid of the whole, making fun of the Batman voice.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm Batman. So short my faces.
But
Marbles in my mouth.
Yeah, but the voice modulator that was pretty cool.
So,
maybe in a future movie they'll say Santana or somebody was projecting stuff into Bruce Wayne's mind. That'd make a lot more sense because as far as I know, Bruce has no gift of foresight.
Yeah. So, I guess my summary of my
we've kind of hopped around a lot.
Yeah. So to bring it back to summarize,
3 amazing action sequences cobbled together by some half-assed storytelling.
Yeah. The actors were great in their portrayals. They were great, but the writing itself was not good.
Subpar.
The
Batman
CGI.
Oh yeah.
The CGI was terrible. There were some places where it was just bad.
Now, Batmaning out, you don't actually even get to see until the last third of the movie.
Yeah.
And that's the whole reason I actually wanted to watch the movie was wanting to watch Batman out.
There have been some reviews online that I've read where they're actually saying that one of the reasons why people who are Marvel fans won't like the movie is because it's too cerebral for them. No, that's not the reason. It's because we actually like it when the people who make our movies make our characters stay true to their characters.
Not just that, but it's in the episode, Batman has no idea that Zod is Kryptonian. I'm sorry, not Zod, Doomsday.
Yeah.
But in a passing conversation, well, by the way, I know Doomsday's Kryptonian, so where's that Lance?
Yeah.
How do you even know that?
Yeah.
Lex Luthor wanted the bullet thing, and the Lex Luthor one, stupid.
Or the fact that Lex Luthor,
is going to save the world for Darkseid.
Figures out in one movie what comic book Lex Luthor never does, that Superman is Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Boom. Well, that was easy. So yeah.
Not only is it figured out, but he's going to prison. He doesn't even blow the friggin' whistle on Clark Kent. That's the first thing Lex Luthor would have done if he went to prison.
Oh yeah.
By the way, Clark Kent, Superman.
Although I did think it was kind of funny that Clark Kent works for a newspaper. They see him every day. They print stories on Superman, and the day Superman dies, they all print a freaking obit for Clark Kent. And nobody at the paper. I mean, I can imagine the world at large not noticing, because who the heck are they going to care? But, hey, Ever notice that Clark Kent kind of looks like Superman?
Yeah.
The hell you say?
The hell you say? So honestly, I'd have to give this maybe a like a C minus.
Yeah. I'd give it a C. I mean, I would. I'd watch it again if it was on at a friend's house. I'm glad I didn't actually buy a ticket to go see it. A friend actually bought my ticket for me. So.
And by default, Captain America: Civil War looks amazing.
Oh yeah. Hey, you know what movie I just watched last night again?
Huh?
The Punisher on Netflix.
Which one?
The
With Thomas Jane?
Yeah. That movie, by comparison, looks amazing. Well, I've always liked it anyway, even though it got crap reviews. But even that movie stayed more true to the characters than this one did.
Interesting.
As far as Batman goes, Superman was all right. Wonder Woman, was portrayed.
She
well.
was there to have a cleavage and stop motion, antics. And she wasn't that bad.
One thing I did like about the fight with Doomsday, though, it kind of showed the world that Batman is in. I mean, you have Wonder Woman, who apparently is just as strong and fast as Superman, who is actually fighting strategically using her amazing sword, which I don't know what it's made out of, and her shield that can apparently block Doomsday and Superman eye blasts.
Well, dude,
and
her
Superman
wristbands blocked the eye blast from Doomsday.
Well, she used her shield earlier too.
Yes,
but you have her fighting, well, basically like an Amazonian goddess, because she is, and then you have Superman, who
is just bruising.
He's not necessarily fighting in a technical way, but he's fighting like Superman, because Superman, if you're a MMORG or MM or RPG type player, Superman is the king of all tanks, and he knows it. He will throw himself in front of a blast, not because it's a technical thing to do, but because if there's someone behind him, he's always sacrificing himself to protect people. He did that in the fight with Doomsday, and then you have Batman, who dodge another not team 4-star, but that's basically all he could do, because if anything touched him in that battle, he would be a freaking
incinerated
grease stain.
Yeah.
There's even one particular scene which I find hilarious that, Wonder Woman goes in and hamstrings Doomsday, and Superman goes in and punches him, and then he starts going with the eye lasers, and both Wonder Woman and Superman block, and then Batman dives behind the car because he's like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens when those kind of powerful beings fight and Batman's around. Of course, he has his one shot, his moment of glory, where he's like, I'm Batman.
Where she shoots the kryptonite gas.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the point I was making before with the whole Batman versus Superman and who's the better hero and blah, 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 Batman fights people who are essentially crazy most of this time.
Just batshit insane.
Yeah, literally batshit insane, because they have to deal with Batman. Superman's rogues gallery is a bunch of people who, if Superman wasn't around to fight them, could potentially destroy the world.
Yes.
So, solid C minus.
Solid C minus.
I think.
And then we have Jason Momoa as Aquaman, where I just thought was Danzig with a beard.
If I had to compare this with like a Marvel movie in terms of maybe quality, I'd say like
Daredevil.
I was gonna be a little more generous and say the Hulk.
The first one?
Whichever one was worse.
The first one.
There.
Where it was what's his face? The Australian guy. Bana.
Hector.
Yes.
Hector from from Troy.
Eric Bana. Eric Bana. Yeah. That. Yes. And although I think the Hulk movies years later were absorbed post Disney acquisition, but as far as the Hulk movie was pretty terrible. When the Hulk hulked out, it was pretty cool. But yeah, I have to say, Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice is on par with the first Hulk movie.
Yeah.
I think just called Hulk.
Yeah. It did not live up to the expectation of what I was hoping for from a Batman versus Superman movie.
So, yeah, we'll take it from there.
There you go.
I mean, if you've got the extra money and you got then you got nothing better to do with your time, go ahead and watch the movie. See what we're talking about. If you have anything as far as like linear thinking or there's suspension of disbelief, and then there's just like making your audience seem like they're fools. Like I said, solid C minus. I wish I could have. I wanted to give it higher. I really did.
I admit though, I went in with very very low expectations. I went in expecting to hate it, really, and
I didn't hate it.
Slightly pleasantly surprised.
You're right. I didn't hate it, but not hating something doesn't mean it's any good.
Yeah. So if you've listened to this and you go and see the movie, leave a comment. Tell us what you think. Tell us if you think we're right. Tell us if you think we're full of crap.
I kind of feel like how like hardcore Transformer fans felt with Transformers 1, 2, and 3. On the surface value, because I wasn't a big Transformers fan,
I love the cartoons.
I didn't mind them so much, but as far as the movies were concerned, I'm guessing, Optimus would never do this. Optimus would never do that.
Okay, here's the thing with the Transformers movie. I can say this because I consider myself a hardcore Transformers fan from back in the day. I would say, if I can speak for most of them, maybe not, I would say most hardcore Transformers fans we loved the first movie. The first movie was great. Everything after that just went downhill because Optimus acted like Optimus in the first one. After that, though, like Megatron is portrayed as getting like progressively weaker throughout the series, and by the end, it's not Optimus kills him in a very un-Optimus-like, completely contradictory to his character.
Yes, I agree with that, and I haven't seen the one with the T-Rex yet, with Transformers 4.
Wait, which one is that?
New one. Extinction.
Holy, I haven't seen that one either. Last one I saw was Dark of the Moon.
Yeah, no, the other one. There's the one where they have the Dinobots.
Huh.
Anyways, another show for another day. I want to thank the finisher for helping me out with this, and sorry Time Warner, sorry Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
Sorry DC. Better luck next time. Maybe if Zack Snyder's not in charge of your next movie, which I guess with Wonder Woman he's not.
We really did have high hopes, though. Like, we did not go into this movie wanting to hate it. We actually, quite the opposite, went into it wanting it to be as awesome as the Avengers.
And it just kind of fell short. Like even the circle moment where it was Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman just kind of fell short because there was the giant pulsating mess that was Doomsday.
Even the humor wasn't really. I mean, what humor there wasn't much. The whole, is she with you? I thought she was with you. Like, that was pretty dumb.
Yep. So, closing off.
Alright, guys, thanks for listening.
So we'll do the next Dark Archery versus the World on something else. Thank you again for the finisher and his input.
No
and good night, good luck, and see you next time. Goodbye.